When we talk about self-esteem, it's important to understand that it's not something that can be handed to us on a silver platter. It's not a prize that we receive simply by being told we're good enough or by receiving praise from others. Rather, self-esteem is a deeply personal experience that must be earned through our own actions, efforts, and perseverance. Think about it this way: if self-esteem were just given, anyone could have it without any effort. But we know from experience that feeling truly confident and proud of ourselves doesn't come from someone else's words alone. It comes from knowing we have faced challenges, taken responsibility, and worked hard to grow and improve. This is why self-esteem is earned. It's built from the inside out through doing the work. When we put effort into learning a new skill, improving ourselves, or overcoming obstacles, we develop a sense of accomplishment. This accomplishment forms the foundation of self-respect and self-worth. For example, a student who studies diligently for a difficult exam feels pride not just because of the grade they receive, but because they know they dedicated time and energy to mastering the material. That pride born from effort is what strengthens their self-esteem. On the other hand, relying solely on external validation, like compliments, social media likes, or fleeting approval, can create a fragile sense of worth that disappears when the praise stops. This is why self-esteem that is given rather than earned is often unstable and easily shaken. It lacks the solid foundation that comes from internal validation, which is rooted in our own commitment to growth. Earning self-esteem requires courage. It means showing up even when things are hard, embracing failure as a learning opportunity, and refusing to give up. When we push ourselves to face discomfort and take responsibility for our progress, we prove to ourselves that we are capable and resilient. This process gradually rewires our self-beliefs, replacing doubt and insecurity with confidence and pride. Importantly, earning self-esteem is a lifelong journey. It's not about achieving perfection, but about making continuous progress. Each small step forward, each challenge overcome, and each moment of perseverance adds to the reservoir of self-worth. Over time, these accumulated efforts create a powerful and lasting sense of esteem that can't be easily taken away. In conclusion, self-esteem is not something handed to us by others or something we are born with. It is something we must earn through dedication, effort, and resilience. By doing the work, facing challenges, and celebrating our progress, we build a self-esteem that is strong, authentic, and enduring. This earned self-esteem becomes the bedrock of a fulfilling and confident life. One of the most important but often overlooked benefits of putting in consistent effort is the way it builds trust in yourself. When you commit to doing the work, whether it's pursuing a goal, learning a new skill, or improving your habits, you are essentially making a promise to yourself. Over time, following through on that promise builds a deep sense of reliability and trust within yourself. Trust is something we usually associate with other people, trusting friends, family, or colleagues to keep their word. But self-trust is just as crucial. It means believing that you will show up for yourself, that you will act in your best interest, and that you can count on your own abilities. This kind of trust is foundational to confidence and self-esteem, and it develops primarily through action. When you consistently do the work, no matter how small or challenging, you prove to yourself that you are dependable. For example, think of a time when you set a goal to exercise regularly or to complete a project at work. Each day you follow through, even when motivation dips, you reinforce your own belief that you can rely on yourself. This builds a positive feedback loop. The more you trust yourself, the more motivated and empowered you feel to keep going. Without doing the work, self-trust remains fragile or undeveloped. Promises made but not kept, like repeatedly telling yourself you'll start tomorrow or that you'll try harder but never actually following through, chip away at self-trust. This can lead to frustration, self-doubt, and a sense that you can't rely on yourself. In contrast, each time you act in alignment with your goals and values, you rebuild and strengthen that trust. Doing the work also builds trust in your decision-making and problem-solving abilities. Challenges and obstacles are inevitable, but by actively engaging with them, you learn that you can handle setbacks and find solutions. This experience reassures you that you can navigate future difficulties, making you more resilient and confident. Moreover, self-trust developed through doing the work encourages greater independence. When you trust yourself, you become less dependent on external validation or reassurance. You begin to rely on your own judgment and commitment, which empowers you to take risks and pursue opportunities that might otherwise feel intimidating. It's important to remember that building self-trust doesn't require perfection. It's about consistency and effort, not flawless execution. Every time you try, every time you persevere despite setbacks, you send a message to yourself that you are reliable and capable. Even small, daily actions contribute to this growing trust. In summary, doing the work is more than just completing tasks. It's a powerful way to build trust in yourself. This trust forms the foundation of self-confidence, resilience, and personal growth. By showing up consistently and following through on your commitments, you create a strong inner relationship with yourself that supports your well-being and success for years to come. In our fast-paced world, it's natural to focus on results, the final grade, the promotion, the completed project, or the applause from others. However, when it comes to building true self-esteem and lasting confidence, placing greater value on effort rather than outcome is a vital mindset shift. Effort over outcome means appreciating and valuing the process of working hard and showing up consistently, regardless of whether the end result is exactly what we hoped for. Why is focusing on effort so important? Outcomes are often influenced by factors beyond our control, circumstances, timing, or even luck. If we tie our self-worth solely to outcomes, we risk feeling discouraged or defeated when things don't go as planned. But when we emphasize effort, we recognize and celebrate the actions we took, the resilience we showed, and the learning we gained, elements that are entirely within our control. When you prioritize effort over outcome, you foster a growth mindset. This is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your worth, you see it as an opportunity to grow and improve. Every attempt, no matter the result, becomes a valuable part of your journey. For example, imagine an artist who spends months creating a painting. The final piece may not win awards or gain widespread recognition, but the effort poured into practicing techniques, experimenting with styles, and persevering through frustration is where true value lies. That effort builds skills, discipline, and confidence, all of which contribute to future successes. Focusing on effort also reduces fear of failure. When outcome is the only goal, fear of not succeeding can prevent us from even trying. But when effort itself is the achievement, taking action becomes rewarding in its own right. This mindset encourages experimentation, risk-taking, and resilience, key ingredients for personal growth. Moreover, valuing effort helps us build self-compassion. It allows us to acknowledge that we did our best at the moment, given what we knew and the resources we had. This self-kindness is crucial for maintaining motivation and protecting mental health. Instead of harshly judging ourselves for not meeting expectations, we appreciate the courage and persistence it took to keep going. It's also important to note that consistent effort leads to improved outcomes over time. While a single result might disappoint, the habits formed through regular hard work accumulate, eventually producing meaningful success. By focusing on effort, we create a sustainable foundation for growth rather than relying on occasional wins. In conclusion, effort over outcome is a powerful philosophy that shifts the focus from external validation to internal growth. It encourages us to value the journey of learning, perseverance, and self-improvement. By embracing effort as the true measure of success, we cultivate resilience, self-trust, and authentic self-esteem that no single outcome can take away. Life is full of challenges, unexpected obstacles, setbacks, failures, and difficulties that test our resolve. While it might be tempting to avoid or run from these challenges, facing them head on is one of the most powerful ways to build and strengthen our character. Character isn't something we are simply born with. It is developed and refined through the experiences we encounter, especially the hard ones. When we confront challenges directly, we engage with our fears, doubts, and limitations. This engagement forces us to grow in ways we wouldn't otherwise. For example, when faced with a difficult project, a strained relationship, or a personal struggle, we are pushed beyond our comfort zones. It is in these moments of discomfort that true growth happens. By persevering through difficulty, we develop qualities like resilience, patience, courage, and integrity, core aspects of strong character. Strengthening character through challenges also means learning from failure. Failure is often seen as negative, but it is actually a valuable teacher. When we face a challenge and don't succeed on the first try, we have the opportunity to reflect, adapt, and improve. This process builds humility and wisdom, recognizing that success often requires persistence and multiple attempts. Facing challenges head on also fosters self-awareness. Difficult situations reveal who we really are under pressure. They expose our strengths and weaknesses and help us understand what truly matters. This self-knowledge is essential for personal growth because it guides us in making better decisions and becoming more authentic versions of ourselves. Moreover, dealing with challenges strengthens our sense of responsibility. When we avoid problems, we might feel relief in the short term, but it often leads to bigger issues later. Taking ownership of challenges means accepting responsibility for our actions and their consequences. This accountability is a hallmark of mature character and earns respect from others as well as ourselves. Another important benefit of facing challenges head on is the confidence it builds. Each time we successfully navigate a difficult situation, we prove to ourselves that we are capable. This growing confidence makes future challenges less intimidating and encourages us to keep moving forward with courage and determination. Importantly, character built through challenges isn't just about toughness or stubbornness. It's about developing a balanced strength that includes empathy, patience, and the ability to stay calm and focused in adversity. It's about learning to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. In conclusion, facing challenges head-on is essential for strengthening character. It transforms adversity into opportunity, failure into learning, and discomfort into growth. By meeting challenges with courage and persistence, we cultivate resilience, wisdom, self-awareness, and confidence. These qualities not only enrich our inner lives, but also prepare us to contribute positively to the world around us. Embracing challenges, therefore, is not just about overcoming obstacles, it's about becoming the best version of ourselves. In our goal-driven culture, it's easy to overlook the importance of small progress. We often focus on big achievements, major milestones, or dramatic transformations, and when we don't see immediate, sweeping changes, we can feel discouraged or stuck. However, small progress matters deeply, especially when it comes to building self-esteem, confidence, and lasting success. Small progress is the foundation upon which great accomplishments are built. Every significant achievement you see around you, whether it's mastering a skill, building a career, or improving personal relationships, started with tiny steps taken consistently over time. These small actions may seem insignificant on their own, but their cumulative effect is powerful. One reason small progress matters is that it keeps motivation alive. When we acknowledge even the smallest victories, we create positive reinforcement that encourages us to keep going. For instance, if you're trying to develop a new habit like daily exercise or reading regularly, celebrating completing just 10 minutes a day or one chapter can boost your morale. This sense of accomplishment fuels continued effort, making the process feel less overwhelming and more manageable. Small progress also helps us build momentum. Success breeds success, and when we experience progress, no matter how small, we gain confidence that propels us forward. This momentum can carry us through tough days or periods of doubt when larger goals feel distant or impossible. Furthermore, small progress allows for steady learning and adjustment. When we break big goals into smaller, achievable tasks, we can focus better, reduce stress, and adapt based on what works and what doesn't. This approach encourages flexibility and resilience because we are less likely to be discouraged by setbacks if we view progress as a gradual journey. Another important aspect is that small progress helps combat perfectionism and fear of failure. When we accept that improvement happens in increments, we give ourselves permission to be imperfect and to fail along the way. This mindset reduces pressure and anxiety, making it easier to take action without the fear of immediate, flawless results. In the context of self-esteem, small progress is critical because it builds positive self-perception. Each time you recognize a step forward, you affirm your ability to grow and improve. This affirmation nurtures a healthier, more compassionate relationship with yourself, replacing harsh self-criticism with encouragement and belief in your potential. It's also worth noting that small progress can accumulate faster than we expect. The compound effect means that tiny daily improvements multiply over weeks, months, and years, eventually leading to remarkable transformation. For example, learning just one new word a day can lead to fluency in a language over time, or saving a small amount regularly can build significant financial security. In conclusion, small progress matters because it sustains motivation, builds momentum, encourages learning, reduces fear, and nurtures self-esteem. It reminds us that every effort counts, no matter how modest it seems. By valuing and celebrating small wins, we create a positive cycle of growth that can lead to lasting success and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Remember, greatness is rarely achieved in a single leap. It is the result of many small steps taken consistently and with intention. Self-esteem is often misunderstood as something that depends on outside factors, praise from others, achievements, or comparisons with peers. However, the most lasting and genuine self-esteem is internal. It originates from within ourselves, from how we view and value who we are, regardless of external approval or circumstance. When self-esteem is external, it is fragile and unstable. It depends on meeting expectations, receiving compliments, or gaining acceptance. This can lead to a roller coaster of emotions, highs when things go well and lows when they don't. Because external factors are unpredictable and often beyond our control, relying on them to feel good about ourselves is risky. This is why many people struggle with self-doubt or insecurity despite external success. True self-esteem, however, is rooted internally. It grows from self-acceptance, self-awareness, and self-compassion. It's about recognizing your inherent worth as a person, independent of what you do, how you look, or what others say about you. When your self-esteem is internal, it becomes a stable foundation that supports you through life's ups and downs. Internal self-esteem starts with self-awareness, understanding your strengths, weaknesses, values, and emotions. This honest self-reflection allows you to see yourself clearly and accept yourself as a whole, including imperfections. When you know yourself well, you can set realistic goals, celebrate your progress, and treat yourself with kindness rather than harsh judgment. Self-compassion is another key ingredient. It means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. Everyone makes mistakes or experiences setbacks. Internal self-esteem is resilient because it embraces these moments as part of being human rather than as reasons for self-criticism. This compassion protects your self-worth from being eroded by failure or rejection. Internal self-esteem also means taking responsibility for your feelings and actions. Instead of blaming others or circumstances for how you feel about yourself, you own your self-perception and work actively to nurture it. This sense of agency empowers you to grow, learn, and improve without depending on external validation. Another important aspect is that internal self-esteem fosters authenticity. When you value yourself from within, you feel less pressure to conform to others' expectations or seek approval. You become more comfortable expressing your true thoughts, feelings, and desires, leading to more genuine relationships and greater personal fulfillment. It's worth noting that developing internal self-esteem is a lifelong journey. It requires patience, practice, and often unlearning habits of seeking validation externally. Mindfulness, journaling, therapy, and positive affirmations can be helpful tools in strengthening your internal sense of worth. In summary, self-esteem is internal because it is built on self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-compassion. It is independent of outside approval and remains steady even in difficult times. By nurturing internal self-esteem, we create a resilient, authentic, and empowered foundation that supports our well-being and happiness throughout life.